What is up, everybody? My name is Vital Syntax and you're watching another Medal of Honor beta video. Today we're using the M4 in the Special Ops kit, and we're using the red dot sight with the HP ammo. Now, you have two options when you're selecting your optics. You have the option to go with the red dot sight, which is basically a holographic or a reflex sight, and you also have the option to go with the combat scope, which is basically ACOG. And then as far as your ammo upgrade, you have two options as well. You have the option to go with the extra ammo, which will give you more ammo every time you respawn, an extra clip of ammo, and also every time you refill your ammo, you'll have an extra clip of ammo. And then the second option for ammo upgrade is the HP ammo, and what that does is it gives you increased damage, but it decreases your range. So those are the only two options for each of those upgrades, but obviously there's going to be more options when the full game comes out in October. Now, the HP ammo, which stands for hollow point ammo, that's the one I would suggest using on this level, just because it's a smaller, it's close quarters, and you don't really need to worry about range. And what the HP ammo does is it increases your damage, but it decreases your range, and since this is a smaller level, range really isn't an issue. But let's say you're playing on a bigger level, I definitely wouldn't use the HP ammo. I'd probably use the extra ammo upgrade. And then as far as the red dot versus the ACOG sight, that's basically the same idea. If you're playing on a small level like this one, I'd probably use the red dot sight. And if you're playing on a larger, more open level, I'd probably use the combat scope slash ACOG sight. So when you respawn with the Special Ops kit, you're also going to get, along with your primary weapon, you're going to get a handgun, which if you're playing as the U.S. Army, it's going to be the M9. And you also get a rocket launcher, which if you're playing as the U.S. Army, is going to be the AT-4. You spawn with two, I believe. Maybe, I don't know if you get three if you choose the ammo upgrade. I think you only spawn with two. They're pretty good. They don't have a very large explosive radius, and they don't have that big of a damage either. But if you hit somebody at their feet, or obviously if you chest them or hit them anywhere on their body, it's going to be a one-hit kill, so it's pretty good. As your, a backup. You don't want to run around as your primary, which I think would be pretty gay. We've seen that in Call of Duty where people just run around with RPGs and danger close and one-man army, which is fucking retarded. Actually, I guess you couldn't do that because one-man army would replace your secondary, but you get the idea. So I think it's pretty well balanced. It's not like a really cheap weapon that you can just whip out at any time and just get an instant kill. It does take some skill to get kills with that rocket launcher. And as far as the grenades go, also they have a pretty low explosive radius and a pretty low explosive damage, and you really have to be pretty close to that grenade for it to kill you. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about score chain rewards, because I know there's a lot of confusion around them. I know people don't really quite comprehend or grasp how you get them and how they work. They're very, very similar to Call of Duty's kill streak rewards, but there's a lot of fundamental differences, and the primary difference is that you have the option to go offensive or defensive. You don't have to have a set kill streak setup. Like in Call of Duty, you had an option to, you had three different choices. You could go something like UAV, Predator, and Harrier, or Harrier, Pavlo, and Chopper Gunner. You had to have those three set kill streak rewards before the game started, and you couldn't change them out in the middle of the game. Well, it's much different, much more flexible in this game, and I really like the way they've done it. Basically, when you get that score chain reward, you have an option of doing an offensive score chain reward and a defensive score chain reward. So the offensive one is always going to be something like a mortar strike, a rocket strike, a predator missile, things that are going to kill enemies. And then your defensive score chain reward is going to be things like a UAV, extra or match ammo, which gives everybody on your team ammo. There's a thing like body armor. I've only gotten it once, but it gives you it turns your vision into black and white on a grayscale, and there's no color, and it looks really cool. And you have extra health, and I'm not sure if everybody on your team has extra health, but at least you have extra health, so it's a little bit harder for your enemies to kill you. I'm not sure how long that lasts either. Once again, I've only gotten that one time. And then also you can get things like FMJ ammo, so your bullets go through walls better, so it's pretty cool. And I really like the idea of giving the user the option to choose between two pretty well balanced rewards. Also, another big difference is the way you get those score chain rewards. You don't have to just get kills. Everything you do is going to go towards your score chain. So it's obviously it's a score chain, not a kill chain. If it was just a kill chain, you'd have to be just getting kills over and over and over. So this is a score chain. Basically, everything you do from headshots, double kills, triple kills, knife kills, long distance sniper kills, all those are going to go towards your score, and your score is going to eventually give you a score chain reward. So I really like that way, the way they do that. So you know, if you're being a more aggressive user and you're you know, really good at getting headshots and doing other things that are productive, you're going to get more score chains because, or a higher score chain because you're getting more points a lot more fast. Let's talk about knifing real fast because you just saw me knife that guy. The knifing in this I think is very, very well balanced. I think knifing in Battlefield Bad Company 2, which is obviously a game that's pretty closely related to this game because it's made by the same developer and it runs on the same game engine. Well, Battlefield Bad Company 2's knifing is, I think, is pretty crappy. It's very, very slow animation, and sometimes it doesn't register, and you'll have to try and knife the guy like 3 or 4 times. And overall, it's kind of just a crappy way that they implemented the knife. And then on the flip side, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's knifing, I think, is incredibly overpowered. For me, it ruins close quarters combat. I usually play on the tactical button layout, so I really rarely ever knife people. And I think that's probably one of the primary reasons why I really don't like Call of Duty's knifing. But I think it's a little bit overpowered, and I think it's just, I don't really like the way they've implemented it. Especially if you're using something like Commando, where it lets you like basically teleport to your enemy and knife them, which I think is pretty stupid. But I think the knifing in this is kind of a mixture between the two. It's pretty fast animation, but there's no like teleporting. You don't just lunge to your enemy. So it does take some skill to kill somebody, but it doesn't completely ruin close quarters combat. But at the same time, you know, it's an instant kill, so it's definitely worth trying to you know, kill something with your knife. And I actually think it's pretty cool. If you're playing as the insurgents, you know, the Taliban, you actually get a tomahawk when you try and knife somebody, so it's pretty sweet. So that's the end of the video. I ended up with a score of 24-5. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.